Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome to the second ever community redraw. Yeah, that's why I like to hear. Put in sound effects right now. You hear me? If you want to join in on these community redraws in the future or any other community activity, go to the link in the description or the link in the pinned comment to join in on the Discord server so that way you can actually, submit for these things for the future. If you saw the first redraw last month, you would know about the prompt that the community's been working on for the past 3 or 4 weeks. And this prompt was to create a rival Pokemon for an existing Pokemon. A really good example is Zangoose and Seviper. They were made to rival each other, though their dexes are pretty on the nose about their whole rivalry. Describes the sharpness of their weapons, and then, oh yeah, by the way, this Pokemon hates without fail for this other Pokemon. It's pretty funny. Overall, the concept of rival Pokemon is pretty untouched and has a lot of hidden potential, in my opinion. So I decided to have my people in Discord expand upon it. I've chosen 3 submissions for today, which has about 2 or 3 Pokemon each. So we have a little to go over. Let's get into that first submission. This very first submission came in very interesting to me, as the other ones do as well. But this one especially because it's an object mon. I haven't done very many object mon in general, so this was definitely another artist muscle stretch. The idea of a book dragon had really piqued my interest because I've never thought about it, but that's just going to be a reoccurring theme in this video. Its rival was an interesting pick, and I think it was very creative. The colors were really nice as well. Volumimic, the sacred knowledge Pokemon, a ghost type. Volumimics pose as books and tomes, slowly lurking at the scent of an unknown, to consume it and its knowledge. Volumimic have long bookmark-like tongues to use just as well as a hand. Most Volumimic trainers are library owners or historians, unaware of the very rare food it seeks. I had an interesting idea for the evolution, which was to remove the middle one and instead put in a mechanic on it that's been hardly used. Sorry if you don't like this. Take a second to think about this mechanic. Since there's a lot of books that are congregating together to make this new Pokemon, what are some other Pokemon that also do this? Wishy-washy is correct, but I'm thinking more of Zygarde. Zygarde's multiple forms are created by how many cells you have to make the forms, ranging from 0% to 100%. I'm not sure if it's a hot take, but I think that 100% is by far the worst out of all of Zygarde's forms. Anyway, I'd like to mention the shinies, because I thought that they were based off of books. Now it's just black and white most of the time, but it's actually based off of the grayscale from the original Game Boy. So points for creativity, because it was a lot more creative than how I thought about it. Bookwyrm, from bookworm and worm, the kind of dragon. A ghost and dragon type. When enough Volumimic come together, they can turn into one monstrous and legendary creature, no longer needing to hide to get the jump on an unknown, but instead, they seek to spread the unknown, then eating them. Bookworm has a signature move called Bedtime Story, which puts the opposing Pokemon to sleep and strangles them like in Bind. Beside the signature move, I find Bookworm pretty cool and wholesome. Unlike Zangoose and Seviper, who just simply can't figure out their feud. I do like the evolution condition that the original poster made, which was to collect all unknown in order to evolve Bookworm from the Librand from the original post. Or Librand? Yeah, Librand, I think. Whatever. From that condition of collecting all 28 unknown, 28? I think it's 28. It should have a 600 base stat total in there somewhere. Also, I spelled out Bookworm's name on its scroll torso out of unknown. Hope you liked this one, but let's move on to the next one. This next line was extremely interesting, simply because I've never thought of this. A line where it was meant to supersede Porygon. Whereas Porygon was a failure, this line was fulfilling its intended purpose. Something I had realized a while ago is that I struggle to make things with straighter lines, like vehicles and all that good jazz. So this is a bit of a reality check on my artist ability as well, which I enjoyed taking that challenge. Victry, the patched Pokemon, a normal psychic type. After the company that made Porygon failed, a rival company made Victry to succeed in the error that Porygon had. Over time, however, the company viewed Victry to be outdated, so they gave it something called the Elite Patch, which created Elite Patch Victry, which, it had everything that Victry had and more. But one worker hated the work of the company and believed that Victry would turn into something horrible in the near future, so he made something called the patch, which would have Victry rebel against the company and act on its own free will, just like how Porygon did, but a lot more rebellious. Since no shiny was submitted, I just took some time to invert the colors. This one was pretty sweet. For the last line of this video, I really wanted to end it all on a high note. The first two consisted of considerably the most important aspects of rival lore, you know, one having a cool design that shows off its rival, and then one where all of its lore explains how it has a rival. This one just, I think it's kind of funny and it matches with the theme of this month. I just had one little thing that I wanted to change, but that's for the next evolution. My favorite part about this was that it had smooth ice to play around with, so this gave me some room to fool around. Rudeer from Rudolph and Deer, a pure ice type. Rudeer are soft-willed and kind-hearted, attempting to help anyone that they pass by. However, its glowing red nose attracts predators and lures them to Rudeer, which is why Delibird pokes fun at most Rudeer. However, this doesn't stop them from being able to hit back. The evolution was really fun to play with and pose. I like the ice brow / antlers thing going on. It was a fun addition to the design. The bells being used as a primary weapon was a really interesting idea as well. The shiny, although being as simple as it is, it still adds some character. It reminds me of Buddy the Elf. Funnily enough, I watched that a couple days ago. Sometimes a simple color change can make the difference. Unlike shiny Garchomp, however, the colors are vastly different. We don't like you, shiny Garchomp. After getting a one-hit KO on a Delibird, Rudeer becomes a Krampunch. The name comes from Krampus and Punch. Now an Ice Steel type. Krampunch became sick of the ostracizing and stood up for themselves. If the hooves don't teach you to be nice, the bells will deck you instead. Krampunch only helps who they deem worthy. The gripe I mentioned earlier, or the one thing that I would like to change, it's overtly just really small. Since the Krampunch stands up for itself and others, I decided to replace its hidden ability Runaway with Guts instead. I'm a big fan of the shiny for Rudeer. The bells being replaced with Pokeballs was extremely creative. I actually really like that. It was really fun. So yeah, I'm terrible at these transitions, so I'm just going to continue. Today it was super cool, and some new coming submissions were everything was awesome. Thanks to everyone who submitted. Hopefully I've gotten somewhere to show show the other submissions that came in. If not, then hopefully now. Again, if you want to participate in this event, then come in and join the Discord. I should have something going on for January, but I'm only gonna say the prompt in my Discord server, and maybe I'll mention it in a new video for January. Anyway, special thanks to the ones who've been chosen today. I am CEO Rary, I hope I pronounced that right, Addy166, and Kara Dagenhart. Before I go, I just want to say a couple things. So if you want, you can just click off now, because this is pretty much the end of the video. But I have an announcement or two. Firstly, I heavily appreciate the sudden initial success from July. I was just a guy, right place, right time. And I'm just so happy that I get to make content for you all. So I want to move into next year with a lot more polish and energy. Secondly, this will be the last video of the year. I kind of wanted to make like a Christmassy video, because I did make a couple Christmas-mon, but I'd rather spend the next couple weeks of my break before I go back to school with my family and making more Pokemon for you guys, because I want to have 3 videos prepared for January. You know, I want to get the jump on things, have some consistency. So I'll see y'all maybe late January of 2025, and I'll see you next year. Good lord.
In the future brings new dangers. Extinguish them and burn the world anew. Dreams of new beginnings. Become a dreamer. The lucid dream is upon us.